G'day ladies and gents, welcome to War Thunder with Mags, and welcome aboard the F80c. Now, I unlocked the F80c the day it was introduced to the release trees on the live server. I've had it that long, since day one, but I really haven't flown it due to its MM. It regularly faces against World War II props, and this is an aircraft that did actually serve during the Korean War. It was only a minor role, but it did actually take part. And this is something that I've never been interested in, shooting props down with what is technically a Korean War era jet. I've actually flown this aircraft so little that despite having unlocked this aircraft on day one, I am only halfway through the airframe repair upgrade, the first upgrade that you have to unlock on the plane, and this plane is still on its last free repair. Now, this is my first match out in the aircraft since I changed my mind on boycotting particular aircraft due to the matchmaking they get. And thankfully the matchmaker has been very kind. I haven't wound up in a prop match. This is Hokkaido and I'm facing off against Meteor F3s and Meteor F4s. Now, my team consists of a B-24 Liberator, a B-17G, two F80Cs including myself, and a P-80. The F80C and P-80 have moved down the island rapidly. They are moving much faster than I am, so I'm guessing they've got a few upgrades across the board. Due to this aircraft being, well, basically stock, I have gone wide and high. I'm going to need a lot of altitude to be able to generate enough energy for combat against meteors in this thing without having upgrades available. And this was a very lucky match for me. This quite easily could have been a loss. It was pure chance that it wasn't. So the first Meteor has been spotted. It's engaging low. P-80 and F80C are engaging it now. It's trying to take out a B-24 Liberator and a B-17G. I'm just making my turn now to head into the central part of the island towards the enemy ground targets. I'm cruising along at 11,000 feet. I should have enough energy built up at the moment to be able to engage these meteors regardless of upgrade level and at least be somewhat effective against them. Beginning my first dive. I fly through the cloud as long as I can until the cloud finally breaks so that they have the minimal amount of time to react to me. I pop out at about 7 k's away. Not quite fast enough getting the lead on that Meteor. Now, this is an interesting thing. Since the Meteors have been renamed, when you are fighting against them, they only come up as F dot. You cannot tell the difference between a Meteor F3 and a Meteor F8 with the current name tag system. The only one you can easily identify is C Meteor. Now, that's looking like an F3, perhaps. Hard to tell. The wings do look clipped, so it could potentially be an F4 short wing as well. Loop the plane over. Meteor pulls straight back up. I'm not going to be able to follow that turn, so point the nose back at the ground to get airspeed. Move on the next Meteor. You can't sustain dogfights in an F80C against Meteors. They will just outturn you and kill you. So lining up on the next target. I'm very, very, very slowly gaining on him here, over 900 kilometers an hour, although I am bleeding speed. First shots of the distance, clip him. I'm burning ammo hard here. I'm panicking a little on my shots, so I am spraying a bit too much. Meteors are also highly durable. They'll take quite a few 50 caliber hits before they go down. And due to having only a stock aircraft, I'm only using the default 50 caliber belts, which are okay, but not brilliant. Lots of shots, just trying to get the angle right, and there we go, got him. That did burn almost all my ammo load. I am down to just over 340 shots, 344 to be exact, and I have another Meteor coming back in. Pushing hard into a dive to get my airspeed back up after a very, very, very low speed turn. Going into the vertical did leave me vulnerable. Take it to the deck. The Meteor has to turn around, but I have two possibles that are coming on me at the moment. 90 degree, move in on the second Meteor. Take it low, he takes out our second F80. high angle, get a good hit into the right wing, and it looked like under the tail too, possible control surface damage. Begin to loop back to face him again. But down he goes, second kill, but I'm now taking strikes from the third Meteor. Now I'm down to just over 200 rounds of ammunition. This is a problem. I have wing damage, and this Meteor is vastly more manoeuvrable than I am. So I'm going to put it on the deck, firewall the throttles, and try and outrun him. Hopefully I can make it back to the base and get some AAA cover. Dodging the cannon rounds. I'm still under AAA attack as well, just to top things off. And this is the point where this match could have turned into a loss. That B-17 and myself are the last two aircraft remaining on this team. The enemy team consists of two Meteors. One is in pursuit and one is RTB. I'm low on ammo and taking serious damage to the right wing. That B-17 has landed and is sitting on the runway. This looks like it's a loss. I'm sure the Meteor pilot behind me realises this, and that's probably why he got a little overconfident and did what he did. Now he's closing in. I am going to have to brake hard. He's going to get guns on me. He's 1.3 out and rapidly gaining on me. I just cannot outrun him. So it's only a matter of time before he gets guns on. That thing is pretty clearly fully upgraded, regardless of whether it's an F3 or an F4. I'm pretty sure it is an F3. The F4 would have already caught me by now. Still closing in. I'm not going to make it to the base. The B-17 has got off the ground, but that is still a B-17 that's about to be engaged by a Meteor with 4 20mm cannons and the ability to boom and zoom at 800 kilometers an hour. So as he moves in close, I just stand on the elevators, pull it straight into a climb, loop over, he fires shots underneath, misses, and he crashes. He stood on the elevators at maximum speed trying to make a turn with me and broke off his own wings. Now I immediately move on the runway to get a repair, rearm and refuel, ready to engage that second Meteor that was RTB before, but I'm not sure what happens with him. But as he's going to land on the other end, he seems to crash and loses his aircraft as well. That's the entire enemy team eliminated. From here I just landed, rearmed, refueled and went hunting enemy AI while the B-17 won the match via ground targets victory. And this was literally a case of the enemy snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Score an AI kill as well. I don't have time to finish off the two remaining AI, however, as the B-17 went to town pretty hard on the ground targets and the match came to a close. So let's go check out the results. So results for the match. First place for the team with 3 kills, that's 2 player, 1 AI. Final blow, Terror of the Skies, 62,000 Silver Lions even, 6,862 mod research points for the aircraft, and that finished off fuselage repair, so my first upgrade on the F80c, and put a big chunk into the 12.7mm belts. So not a bad first match back in the F80c, and some pretty good matchmaking as well. This is the type of battles I always wanted in the F80c. Fighting Meteors, fighting MiG-9s. These are the type of planes that I wanted to do battle with. Unfortunately, I am going to wind up in a prop match eventually, but until then, I'm hoping I get as many of these matches as I possibly can. Now for our next match of today, we're in the Meteor F3, and this is another aircraft that German prop pilots hate the mention of. But once again, the matchmaker has been good to us. We are on Korea, the team consists of Meteor F3s and F80cs versus MiG-9s, so this is exactly the type of matchmaking this plane should be getting as well. Let's see how she does. Now, unlike my F80c, my Meteor F3 is not stock. I'm only 2 upgrades off having this aircraft completed. Now, the reason why is before the BR system and the current matchmaking was introduced, the Meteor F3 used to regularly get into battles against, well, with F86 Sabres against MiG-15s. Despite the obvious disadvantage an F3 Meteor would have in this situation, I used to fly it anyway, and as a result I managed to rack up some kills and some pretty good XP in it over time and got most of the upgrades done. Since the BR system introduction, however, it turned into a clubbing plane. It's another plane that just never got finished. It got put in a rack at the back of my hangar and has not been pulled out since. No clubbing this match, however. MiG-9 attempts to dive on me and eats a face full of 20mm rounds straight down the centre fuselage. Moving on the second MiG-9. It is moving in a dive, trying to get some speed up at the moment. I'm trying to intercept it low to ground level. Now I am a little cautious on turning hard in the Meteor. It will snap its wings if you're at high speed, so pull it into the vertical and hold for a second or two just to bleed a little bit of speed before I continue the loop and bring it back down. Pass over the top of the MiG-9 that was approaching in behind me. It's gone into the vertical and taking it into the clouds, moving on the second target. Now while the radiator upgrade does help the Meteor a lot, the F3 a lot, it will overheat its oil if you stay on the wet for too long. Another hit into the MiG-9. Now I don't bother to turn back on that guy because I'm pretty sure the damage is going to be fatal. There was a critical hit to the engine, and there he goes. Engine failure, glide crash into the terrain. So that's my first kill of the match. Ducking into the cloud cover and making a turn, trying to disappear from the second MiG-9. I know it's still hunting me. While I have still got it red boxed, I don't think it can actually see me down here below the clouds. I think it's being proxy spotted by that F8F that's currently trying to chase it. So as a result, I'm trying to move in underneath it and build up as much airspeed as I can. I'm going to make a sneaky attack from underneath out of the clouds. The engines are totally amber now, oil and normal temps. I've just had to shut down the WEP, otherwise they'll melt the engine. Unfortunately, that means I wasn't able to retain enough energy. The MiG-9 saw me coming up from underneath and looped over. It's now diving at me. So roll the plane and stand hard. That was a 37mm shell, just missing my plane. Roll it straight back into the cloud bank and disappear again. Again, try and take it into the vertical for another shot. The F8F's on him though, and he gets the shot in. Beautifully done. Roll it over, I'm right near stall. And you just observe that sight, an F8F taking out a MiG-9. And that's just more proof that why jets are vastly superior to props in terms of combat capability. You cannot let yourself get slow near a prop fighter. It will rip you in half if you give it half the chance. They generally have more firepower than you, and they can maneuver quickly enough that if you get caught in a slow situation, they will just kill you. Now we've skipped through a little bit. I'm currently hunting down the enemy's remaining MiG-9s. They are floating around, but I'm not sure where they are. Now things have been going way too well, so it's about time for me to do something stupid. A strong piece of advice when flying a jet at 800 kilometers an hour, when you start typing in chat, make sure the chat window is open first, otherwise this happens. Yeah, I just hit the I and the J keys without having the chat window open, so I've just dropped my landing gear and turned my engines off. Now thankfully the Meteor is one of the jets in game that can actually restart its engines mid-flight. Not all of them can. However, with the landing gear already dropped, one wheel broken off, I can't retract the landing gear. The only thing I can do at this point in time is point it down, get my airspeed up, and let aerodynamics tear the remaining wheels off, and hope it doesn't bother my performance too much. The extra drag on the airframe, however, even once the last wheel comes off, limits the plane to, at best, about 760 to 770 kilometers an hour. It won't break that anymore. The upside is I no longer have to worry about ripping my wings off when I'm in maneuvers. I can have this thing flat stick, and I'm not going to be able to go fast enough to break the plane anymore. So anyways, continuing the hunt for the MiG-9. So we're about 4 or 5 minutes on again. I've just checked the Russian runway out. There's nobody there. I was scanning around their side of the map when our F8F called out for help. The MiG-9 has been hiding in the cloud cover over the centre of the map all along and just boomed him hard. So I'm on my way as fast as I can. The F8F is attempting to try and head in my direction, but he's got to be pretty evasive. The MiG-9's pretty determined to get a kill. Now the F8F pilot is playing it smart here. He's dipping in and out of the clouds, but he's trying to stay close enough to the MiG-15 to give me a constant lock on its location. There it is again. I'm about 12 k's out and coming fast, and as you can see, the plane in level flight is no longer busting 700 kilometers an hour. I'm only able to do about 641 in level flight at the moment. But thankfully the MiG's coming in my direction, saving me the effort of having to run him down. Now he's 3.28 in closing, he's definitely spotted me. 2, 1, I take my shot, spray a little, go underneath, he pulls up. Now the advantage of only doing 640 means I can stand on the elevators as hard as I want and not have to worry about a rip. The downside is, even at not at full power, he will be able to outrun me. Thankfully, he's more interested in a dogfight. He turns back. Try for the lead and miss. And there it is. Kill shot. Now, at the time of this kill, I thought the enemy team still had 2 aircraft up, this guy and one other, but it turns out the other guy has actually crashed and just not ejected from his plane, so he looks like a live target when he's not. And there we go, the fire's burnt the target out, and that is the end of the match. So, results for the match. First place for the team with 2 MiG-9 kills. Final blow, Terror of the Sky and Bulletproof, 46,820 Silver Lions. 3,044 mod RP on a premium account, no double. And minus being an idiot and ripping off my own landing gear, that was a really good match. And again, another match where the matchmaker was kind and gave me some challenging opponents rather than putting me in the typical seal clubbing match that I generally see Meteors in. This is also the first chunk of RP that has been applied to this aircraft in a very long time, and at the rate I'm going, it looks like that cover will be knocked over shortly and this plane will be finally completed. This of course means in the future there will be a review on the Meteor F3 and all of its capabilities that I'll be putting in. It'll take a few more flights. I like to make sure the plane's fully upgraded before I do reviews on them. It also means there will eventually down the track be a review of the F80c. I'm just going to have to fly that a little bit more. I've got a little bit more work to do there to get that thing fully upgraded. But 2 low-level jet matches in a row and no seal clubbing MM, who would have thought? I'm going to enjoy flying these if I keep getting matchmaking like this. Anyways, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed this video. Click like if you do, subscribe if you want to see more, fly smart, fly safe, and I'll catch you in the skies.